Ali McCoist. What's going wrong with Chelsea?
Problems, just not looking like it at all. Been outclassed, really, haven't they, against a terrific City side. However, you look at Everton managing to get a good result against City. It's not as if it's impossible. And Chelsea have been poor, just not looked the part at all. He'll certainly be given time, as he should, to sort the problems out. I think he's going to need a couple of windows, but they just look, don't have a centre forward, just look like there's a kind of staleness crept in, and they're well off it.
I have some sympathy for him. All of those signings that they signed weren't his signings.
Yeah.
And if you're going to bring a new manager in, at least give him a window, at least give him a
couple of
windows, to find his way. Let's find out what the Chelsea fans think, because joining us now is a man who's a big Chelsea fan. He's also a big broadcaster as well. Kweku Afari is joining us. Hello, Kweku, you all right?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
Morning, mate. You okay?
I'm okay. I've just about recovered from last night.
I'm depressed this week. I'm a Chelsea man as well. What do you think's going wrong?
It was just like we heard in the clip earlier. It was a rudderless performance from Chelsea, and it just looks like there's a lack of ideas and a lack of confidence as well. And when you hear the fans turning, it's definitely seems like the writing's on the wall. And it was definitely a night to forget for Chelsea and Graeme Potter. Like I said, some of the fans turned on him last night and could be heard chanting Thomas Tuchel's name from the away section at the Etihad last night.
Quick, it's a funny one. I was just going to say, I thought we were going to go to a break there, and not go to a break, go to hear the fans, but I was just going to say, because when the club gets taken over, a new owner, you think everybody's going to get a boost. You think, right, we're all together now, let's move forward. It looks the opposite.
Yeah, it's just, I think there's so many different cooks in the kitchen for Chelsea, and it's just, you have to look at Graeme Potter and give him, from my point of view, give him time in comparison to like what they've given previous Chelsea managers. Obviously, it's under different regimes, because this is a board that spent over £200 million on players in the summer and then sacked Thomas Tuchel to bring in Graeme Potter. So essentially, I've said it before, he's working with players that are not really his players. We've seen some signings this January in terms of Badiashile and in terms of Fofana, young boy from Mulder. But we need to give him time. We need to give him a couple of transfer windows. And we always point to Arsenal as an example of a team that's given the manager time, and now it's bearing fruition. It's paying dividends. So it's Arsenal top of the league. So Chelsea have got to look at that and give this manager some time.
Let's hear some of those chants from last night.
I can understand their anger. They're supporters of Chelsea. They're used to better than this, and I can understand their position. All I know is that we're working really, really hard. We're in a really tough moment, and I think if we want to accomplish anything, sometimes there's going to be a struggle.
Yeah, I mean, I've got sympathy for Thomas Tuchel, because nobody wants to hear that. It's football, isn't it? And managers are paid handsomely to deal with that kind of pressure and make things work. It's just not working. Something's not working at the moment.
It's not, but you can understand it. And the thing from Chelsea fans' point of view, I didn't like hearing those chants at Etihad, because it's unfair. And also, there needs to be a bit of perspective. Let's be honest, Chelsea hit the lottery when Roman Abramovich came in 2003 and invested all that money. Laura, as an Arsenal fan, 19 years into a drought in terms of winning the title. Man United are now in their 10th year without a Premier League title. Liverpool, 30 years. Ostensibly, these are bigger clubs than Chelsea. Chelsea last won the Premier League, 2017 under Antonio Conte? There's going to be peaks and troughs. Football's cyclical.
Correct.
You've got to give managers time, because it makes the good times feel even better. Right now, as an Arsenal fan, Laura, you must be on top of the world after seeing Arteta finish 8th, then 8th and 5th. And now you're top of the league and it feels good. Chelsea have to give Graeme Potter some time.
Oh, it's like he's on your brain.
I know.
Were you one of those fans cheering his name?
Stop it.
Quick, I've got to say, you're absolutely spot on, right? Your assessment of the whole situation. However, it clearly sounds as though that section of the Chelsea fans aren't of the same opinion. And you're correct to use Arsenal as an example, because they are now probably the one club that are as one and focused and united moving forward, and that's down to the manager. Let's make no mistake about it, there's people calling for Arteta's head not so long ago, and he's turned them into a fine team that are more than capable now of winning the title. Do you think there's maybe a little bit of a reality check needed to be taken by one or two of the Chelsea fans?
100%, because this is such a competitive Premier League at the moment. If you look at like even the bottom half of the league, Lopetegui is the manager of Wolves. His last 2 jobs, or last 3 jobs, Real Madrid, Spain and Sevilla.
Yeah.
You look at Unai Emery at Aston Villa. This is such a competitive Premier League. And then you look at the top end of it with Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola and Antonio Conte. This is this is the best league in the world. So it's going to be difficult, especially from Graham Potter's point of view, who's not had experience managing these type of egos and personalities, to embed his ideas and philosophies. And we talk about Arsenal all the time. I don't want to bang on about them too much. But if you look at the Arsenal team that beat Chelsea in the FA Cup final in 2020, only one regular starter, or one person that started that game for Arsenal is a regular starter for them today, and that's Granit Xhaka. There's been so much change, but it's happened fairly quickly. So Chelsea fans, we're suffering at the moment, but give him time, give him a couple of transfer windows, I'm sure he can turn things around.
Damo's been in touch. He says, Cucurella, Potter player. Potter's massively out of his depth. Fact, Cucurella, just because he played at Brighton with Graham Potter doesn't mean Graham Potter brought him into Chelsea. He didn't. That was under Thomas Tuchel. And the thing is as well is, I thought even if that was correct, that is one player. There's one player. Chelsea is a massive club, and you're right. Arsenal fans bear witness to the fact that you cannot sort something out in 1 window, 2 window, especially if there has been a really long period of time where perhaps investment hasn't been right, players aren't working, something has to change at Chelsea, and I think they are going through some sort of a change in terms of perhaps a bit of culture, perhaps like a fallout of so many different managers and so many different players coming under different ideas. You can't bring a manager in like that. I think it would be disrespectful to Thomas Tuchel actually to bring a manager in to replace him and then go, no, not good enough. Like, there's a reason you got Thomas Tuchel out. I didn't agree with it at the time actually, and I think this probably now is proving what a big job this is at Chelsea and what a good manager that he was to come in and win the Champions League. I just think Potter needs a little bit more time, and Chelsea fans are probably used to this quick cycle. Of course they're used to it. Quick cycle. If something isn't working, get a new manager, get new players, whatever. Sometimes things just take a little bit more time, and now there are other teams ahead of them that they have to be respectful of that as well. I mean, you're a Chelsea fan. What would you like to see next?
The exact same as my friend across the table from me. I'd like to see a bit of calmness. There's been a bigger transition in the club than there's probably been since Abramovich took over. Abramovich was absolutely fantastic for Chelsea in terms of turning the club around, and the success that Chelsea have had under Abramovich was incredible. You look at winning the Champions League as well with Tuchel. I think everyone needs to just take not even a step back, just kind of calm down, and it ain't going to be an overnight fix. No chance it's going to be an overnight fix. And you're right to mention those teams, and there's other teams. Look at Newcastle now, Fulham doing well. I mean, there's some Brighton doing well. All these teams are. I think it's the competition now is as hard as it's been for a long time, particularly at the top of that league. So I would like a little bit of perspective and just everybody given time, particularly Graham Potter.
What a very level-headed conversation on talkSPORT. It's like we're on the wrong channel.
And that's coming from 2 Chelsea men as well.
I know, right? Right, Kweku, thank you very much. Fingers crossed they'll pull their stops up very, very soon. Kweku Afari there, broadcaster and big Chelsea fan on talkSPORT Breakfast.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods. Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.